So I'm going to tell you this evening a story about something which probably feels very removed from each of your everyday lives. Actually, it's something which is relevant to every single one of us. 7 years ago, I was working as a clinical psychologist in a mental health clinic in the inner city for teenagers. Some young people came, many didn't. The ones who didn't come were the ones on paper who had the highest, most complex needs. Young people that had grown up with multiple levels of deprivation, lack of opportunity, experienced domestic violence. They were offending, and they were in street gangs. I knew that I had to find a better way to deliver mental health to those young people, because they needed help the most, but they were getting it the least. What we were doing was not working. I didn't know what the answer was, but I knew who would. It was the young people themselves. So I set out on a journey to find a gang. There had been a murder on an estate near where I lived. I did a bit of investigating, and I found out two things. The gang ate fish and chips, and they offended. I didn't want to offend. I wasn't too bothered about eating fish and chips, but I knew that's where I had to go to find them. I stood outside the fish and chip shop for 6 months. And little did I know that I would end up founding an organisation with the young people from the fish and chip shop. The organisation is called MACUK, and our remit is to radically transform the way that mental health services are delivered to young people who offend and young people who are in gangs. 1 in 3 young people who offend has an unmet mental health need at the time of offence. It's pretty unlikely that when someone's running around wielding a knife, that anyone is going to stop and ask if they're depressed. Actually, that's very often exactly what's going on. Most of the young people we work with are homeless, never mind having a GP that they can go and see. They're in gangs where being strong is how you survive. Mental health is pretty hard for any of us to talk about, never mind when you're one of them. And then, of course, it could just be the simple fact that the mental health clinic is in the wrong postcode, and going there will quite literally put their lives at risk. This is a serious problem. It's a moral problem, and it's very expensive. It costs the country £4 billion a year. That's only half of the story. The real story here is a young person called Mark. He taught us the answer to 1 in 3. It's actually really simple. It's about getting out of our clinics and onto the streets, delivering what young people want, where they need it. We work on benches, buses, stairwells, KFC, McDonald's, court waiting rooms. It really doesn't matter. We call it street therapy. And it turns everything that we know about mental health on its head. It wraps around things that young people are interested in. Jobs, housing, gym, football, cooking. It's led by them. It's also about partnership, because we can't do this on our own. The NHS is the biggest health provider in this country. And if we really want to transform young people's lives, success for me looks like us closing down and then taking this forward. MACUK is 5 years and 1 month old. And what's really exciting is that we've got sites across London and we're training people nationally in what we do. What's most exciting of all, though, is that we're doing this with the NHS and with local authorities, and it's working. By putting mental health at the heart of solutions, we are having significant impact on reoffending rates for young people. As I said, it's about them taking it forward, and they are. Just last week, Camden Clinical Commissioning Group funded a whole new service for 16 to 25s in Camden. This is an NHS service, and it's going to deliver our model. We're proud of all we've achieved, but actually, I've saved my best story until last. My best story is Mark. Mark is now a full-time employee of MACUK. He's one of our most innovative mental health practitioners. He's also one of my most trusted advisors. He's amazing at meeting young people's needs. Mark was the 1 in 3. Mark is MACUK. He's the reason I'm here. He made me leave that clinic. I met him at the fish and chip shop.